Hello and welcome to Intuitive Astrology with Molly McCord. Today's show is the weekly Intuitive Astrology and Energies of January 15th through the 22nd, and we're going to take a look at the energy changes that are unfolding over the next week as we complete the lunar cycle associated with these last set of eclipses. Now, all eclipses have a different energetic imprint. And these two that we just experienced on December 26th, as well as the very powerful Cancer full moon lunar eclipse on January 10th, actually last months. So it's like the energy comes in, it's a download of energy, it is received in our consciousness and in our awareness, and then the energy ripples out and unfolds for months and even years. And this December 26th eclipse was big. And it's going to be triggered again when Mars enters Capricorn the middle of February. Mars is always a trigger energy. So as Mars traverses around the zodiac, it's activating energy. So it's going to activate the December 26th eclipse in middle of February. And we'll talk about that when we get there, but just a heads up. Then Mars is going to continue on, and in about 16 months or so, almost a year and a half away, Mars is going to be at 20 degrees of Cancer and trigger the January 10th eclipse. And that will happen actually in May 2021. So understanding that there are many cycles here that activate eclipses can help us understand that they are evolving us over a period of time, that we're working with these energies over a span of time. So yes, we receive the energies at a particular time, but then they stay within our aura, our awareness, our consciousness for a while, and we work through them. Mars comes through, triggers the points again, we check in, we learn, we accelerate even when Mars triggers eclipse points. So it's useful to understand that yes, we did have one day where there was a very powerful eclipse, but the energy is long lasting. And the particularly long lasting eclipses are the ones that are worked with over a period of time through Mars and also through other transiting planets. So know that what is happening now is going to be unfolding for a while, and we're going to be learning a lot. And I feel that because there is a quickening of energies on the planet, you can learn and move through some areas even faster because of where you're at on your spiritual path, because of your higher consciousness, but also because of your willingness, which comes from your trust in yourself, your trust in the process, your trust in the healing that's underway and where you're going next. So just know that these eclipses are very big, and we do have 5 more eclipses in 2020. And for those of you who are in my 2020 Soul Growth webinar, we have a whole webinar all about the 6 eclipses of this year. And for those who want to sign up, you can still do so and just use coupon code RARE, and you'll get the full 2020 astrology for only $25. So a lot is happening, and we're feeling it, and it's changing us. And we've been talking about that in the last few episodes here, that what we're experiencing is this emergence of our new consciousness, our new sense of this is who I am now. But it comes up against and is tested by our previous ways of doing things, our previous emotional loops, or our previous thought patterns, our previous belief systems. All of this is being renovated at a personal level, but also at a collective level. So the more you can recognize this in yourself, you can see the bigger picture of, okay, there are essentially 2 energies of myself, and one is getting stronger in order to move me forward, and the other one I'm meant to observe and be aware of and understand with love and compassion who I have been, and also how I am growing, actively growing at this time. I do believe that is one of the most helpful ways to work with astrology, is to see it as a growth tool, a navigation tool, a way to move through your life seeing what energies are working with you and how you can be in your power with them. So over the next week, we have some changes coming up. We're going to see Mercury move into Capricorn. And this will be happening on January 16th or 17th, depending on your time zone. And Mercury goes into Aquarius and literally gives us more tools to put together the bigger picture. Opens us up to what we're now ready to communicate and share and express. Mercury is always strong in the air signs. It's how we can formulate some bigger thoughts and concepts, how we can talk about the future, the long-term objectives, what matters to you, where you want to go, what you have perceived, what you've experienced, what you've observed. And this Mercury wants to have these conversations. It wants to connect with people and have these dialogues that support seeing what's unfolded and understanding where there are new potentials that are emerging as well. So Mercury in Aquarius is helping us see the bigger picture and also understand our unique piece of the cosmic puzzle, how you are an individual and how your mind can be used to process and understand things in a positive, productive manner. So there's some support here. As Mercury moves out of Capricorn, the intensity of that Saturn Pluto conjunction plus the conjunction with the Sun, Mercury moves into an element that he's comfortable in and can literally get some fresh air. Some fresh air, some fresh ideas, open up. It's sort of like once you've been in the house for too long, you have some cabin fever, you go out onto the porch to clear your mind and get some fresh air. So again, that is happening here over the next week. And that's going to feel even like you get some whole new understandings of what is right for you and where to go next. Now, the other transition that's underway is that we have Venus now in Pisces, and she is really lovely in Pisces. So Pisces is the 12th sign. It's a place of completion in the zodiac. So we look at how far Venus has traveled in the past 18 months or so. She comes into Pisces and she needs a break. She needs rest. She needs downtime. Venus is one of the feminine archetypes in astrology, and she is reminding us to take care of ourselves. Make time for yourself. Take a step back and do some self-care. It's taking those extra baths, going for that extra walk, giving yourself the quiet time, the downtime. Pisces is private, it is intuitive, it is emotional, and it's where we need a place to land that is soft and kind, and it's important to give that to yourself. With Venus being the feminine, this is where the feminine energy also can loosen and have some space and some time to herself, coming back to what she needs, who she is now, what matters to her, and also to release expectations of herself, to allow herself that sense of just take a pause, give yourself a break, and allow things to just be. So if you can make that an intention right now, it will feel like you're able to manage your energy effectively without feeling like you have to keep performing and doing and going and essentially always being in the masculine. Now, on that note, Mars, the masculine, the lover of Venus and Mars are lovers. Mars is in Sagittarius, and he is off seeking and moving and open to possibilities. He wants freedom. He wants to trust what feels right for him. He has that fire, that action, that desire, and he is in motion right now in a very strong way. And Mars being the masculine, it's the part of our energy that wants to go for something. To shoot for the stars is a very apropos way of describing this Mars in Sagittarius. It's the part of us that is ready, that is energized, that is motivated. And you could feel that in your body. You could feel that sense of, okay, well, I really want to go for it. So we have this very interesting energy happening right now between the feminine and the masculine. So Venus and Mars are both in mutable signs. And the mutable signs like options. They like freedom. They don't want to be held down or held back. They like the choices and flexibility. That is a strength of the mutable signs. So here we have Venus in Pisces that's basically saying, leave me alone, but don't leave. She's also saying, come close, but maybe not too close. She can give mixed signals because she wants to be connected, but really she wants to be connected spiritually and emotionally. And if you don't give yourself that time, you're going to try to seek that out in relationships that could show up as mixed messages, for example. So Venus in Pisces, she is sort of in this place of, I just want to do my own thing, but maybe I want to connect with you later. Then we have Mars in the mutable sign of Sagittarius that wants to be unleashed, untethered, roaming and free, and open. So both of these energies of the feminine and the masculine are saying, I want freedom, I want my space, and I don't want to be held down or held back right now. I want to do my own thing. Now, because Venus in Pisces and Mars in Sagittarius are forming a square, this can show up in your relationships as a tension, a sense of, well, I want to move forward, but I want time to myself, and I want to do nothing at the same time. It can show up in relationships, whether you're the feminine or the masculine, as each of you needs time and space to kind of do your own thing right now. And I feel like this energy actually goes into February. Because as Venus travels through Pisces, Mars travels through Sagittarius, and then Venus is going to enter Aries in February, early February, and then Mars is going to enter Capricorn, which those are both independent energies. Venus in Aries, Mars in Capricorn. So there's something right now that's really being reprogrammed and realigned within us that I feel is about what we've learned about what it means to be in our divine masculine, in our divine feminine energies in a healthy way. And we are ensuring that we are practicing the higher expressions of these energies and not reverting back to shadow aspects which operate out of fear. And this goes with the whole wrestling with the two parts of yourself, of your higher consciousness and the lower consciousness, or who you feel you are now versus who you were before. We are reworking our feminine and masculine energies to be in a new alignment with what that looks like internally, but it also shows up externally in our relationship dynamics with others. Essentially, we're learning how to do relationships in a new way, to do them from the heart space, to come from the heart, to come from a place of your heart's power, a place of honoring who you are, what you need, what matters to you, and how it raises the bar and it reveals to you others who show up in that same energy. So here you are perhaps looking at some relationship tension or a frustration or something that isn't quite hooking up. It's like there isn't a smooth energy. It's a little bit bumpy or rocky. And we're meant to see how to be gentle with ourselves as we're learning something new, a new way of being in relationships. And I'm getting the image right now of a bike with training wheels, and that it takes practice. It takes practice to show up and speak from your heart. It takes practice to be very clear in your boundaries. It takes practice to have an awareness of what your driving intention is. It takes practice. And so over the next few months, the energies with Venus and Mars are asking you to look at your choices and your options. Be very clear about what you're consciously choosing. And I'm getting this through conversation. And, we look then at Mercury and Aquarius. What are you going to express to people or talk about that reflects the truth of who you are now? I feel an ownership energy here. I feel a sense of having it just feels like new conversations or new types of conversations that reflect how you're willing to approach your life with a fresh honesty. And it takes that authentic desire to be yourself in a new way. And it could be that there's some practice here where you're expressing yourself in a new way. You're saying what you need in a new way that previously felt scary or you didn't have the tools for it. And now you're able to say, well, this is really what matters to me now because I've learned X, Y, and Z, and I am really committed to this type of outcome or this type of progress. I feel like there's a new rewiring to the heart, to the heart, and I'm seeing that it creates this new dialogue, a new way of speaking your truth that honors your boundaries, your sense of self, your confidence, but then also comes from the heart, which means there is an honoring of others, and there's a sense of I can be strong in myself, communicate my truth, say what I need, and know that that will land on the right ears and that will be heard by the right people. And I feel that part of this rewiring is getting us stronger for the new potentials that are coming this year. So we've talked a lot about the big eclipses, the big Saturn Pluto conjunction, all the big things that are happening. And I feel that it's opening up a lot more possibilities and potentials that weren't available last year or last decade. And so for all the things that are changing, the change is bringing in good things as well, and new opportunities and new ways to step forward in your life. And it feels really uplifting and exciting, almost like what you've been through, even as it's been hard and challenging and intense, it's going to continue to clear away. It happens at different speeds for different people, but I feel like I'm getting the image of a hallway with multiple doors opening. It's sort of like, okay, you've reached this point in the game, the next level, and at this level, you're going to have new possibilities that you didn't have access to before. It's a bit like getting into an elevator and you have to have the right key to go to a certain floor, the VIP floor or the penthouse or the special lounge, and now you have access to it, and it's meant to be this forward movement that reminds you that good things are happening and there are new potentials and there are new possibilities, and for everything that's been so big or life-changing or intense, it's very real, of course, I just feel that for some people, very big life-changing events, but life is meant to change. Life is meant to change. And so we change and we shift and we have a new normal, and then new possibilities open up. So I feel like that's something to keep in mind as we move into this decade, is that there are some opportunities coming up that are going to be in beautiful alignment with what you want now. And it's because of the work you've put into something, the time, the energy, the effort. This is certainly associated with Saturn in Capricorn and Jupiter in Capricorn. Now, Saturn in Capricorn is still conjunct Pluto. And this conjunction is going to ease up by the end of January. They are still traveling together within a degree, because right now Saturn is at 23 degrees and Pluto's at 22 degrees, but then Pluto goes to 23 degrees on the 20th and is still basically conjunct Saturn. And this conjunction is big, as we know, and it's meant to be clarifying, and it's meant to show you no's. No, 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 because Capricorn, in fact, all the earth signs eliminate. They cut out something. They create the boundaries, they create the limitations so that you can have a realistic assessment of your life. And then as we move into February, Saturn pulls ahead and moves from 25 to 28 degrees of Capricorn and essentially moves away from that tight conjunction to Pluto. So there's still basically this intensity between Saturn and Pluto throughout January. But Saturn brings rewards for work well done. Saturn recognizes what's been accomplished, what goals have been achieved, what you've put into that deserves that recognition. So even though it's been quite tumultuous and these energies are intense, Saturn is ultimately fair. And the energy you've put out comes back to you. And we can associate that with karma or with consequences, but it's also rewards, promotions, recognition, graduation. So keep in mind that that is something that is in the works at this time. And Saturn will be strong throughout the next few months and be able to connect you with what you need to master next and with that next level energy. That sense of ready or not, you've been recognized for what you've done and it's time for the next role. So that's ultimately encouraging. And then Jupiter in Capricorn brings about the ease of things developing. Jupiter being abundant, being one of a sense of accomplishment as well, where there is ease, where there is grace, where there's opportunity. Jupiter is actually uncomfortable in Capricorn because Jupiter says no, but it's rewarded with a yes in Capricorn, meaning if it's not the first job, it's the second. If it's not this, it'll be something else. It's like giving you that sense of, well, what do you really want to commit to? And when you're clear about your commitments, Jupiter will bring in something that demonstrates that energy for you. So I feel like there's going to be some more leveling up, but at the same time, you're being asked to travel with your higher consciousness, to have the courage to put into practice everything you've learned about who you are, what you value, what you want, and why you believe you are here on the planet. Meaning understanding more about your truth of your soul mission, your soul work, your gifts, your abilities to live a wonderful, beautiful, happy life. That is what the opportunities are coming. Those are the opportunities coming through, essentially. And that's what this next decade is all about, because there are different timelines that are coexisting. So essentially, each of us is on our own timeline of soul growth and healing and what we want, manifesting, etc. We're all on our own energetic timeline, and it overlaps with other people. And we are all experiencing our own reality that we've created. Well, what we've been undergoing is a recreation of the reality that we want. And it's asking you to be very honest with yourself and with the universe, God, Source, Spirit, about what is best for you at this time. And there's also this energetic question, I'm going to call it an energetic question, around your own worthiness. And this is being stimulated by the Uranus in Taurus transit that's shaking us up and asking us to get into some deeper energetic imprints that perhaps have been traveling with us for lifetimes and to be willing to essentially release what we have blocked, to look at those blocks, to look at the resistance, what that resistance was really about. If that resistance and the conditioning is something that you absorbed from others around your own worthiness, and this is where you're demonstrating a new level of self-worth as well. In Monday's podcast, I talked about this a bit more, specifically the 3 areas of your natal chart that have big significant changes happening, connected to the eclipse points and Uranus at 2 degrees of Taurus. So know that we are really being renovated energetically, and it can feel like the ground is shaking. On that note, in the past number of days, there have been 3 earthquakes on the planet, one in Japan, one in Mexico, and another in the Philippines. And these are associated with Uranus in Taurus, Taurus being the earth, and the shaking free of energies. You could have experienced your own type of volcanic eruption or energetic release of some sort. That is part of how Uranus moves quickly, unexpectedly, abruptly, and it's meant to be a liberation energy. You're meant to feel that sense of, oh my gosh, I finally got that out. I finally said what I had to say or understood something. There was a breakthrough. And it's meant to ultimately lead you to a healthier expression in this area of your life. So a lot is shifting and changing. It's asking you to ride these waves, and it's asking you to stay in it for the long haul. That's another component of the strong Capricorn energy at this time, is that you're thinking about the long-term commitments, where you are wanting to go, where you're ready to go, where you're going to feel a sense of satisfaction and success. The bigger picture of your life, of managing your life, being in charge of your life, understanding that you steer the ship here. And I feel like this power that's coming through, and I feel it as these energetic downloads that are certainly happening as we sleep. They're happening at a physical level through our bodies. They're happening spiritually and intuitively. They're changing us in a very deep way. And that can be unnerving. I mean, you could feel it in your body through anything like your digestive system, your nervous system, anything like anxiety that's spinning. It's very intense. There have been some nights that I have had a hard time sleeping. My crown chakra has been buzzing, almost like I'm not meant to sleep or I can't sleep because the intensity of the energies is so big that all I can do is simply trust that if I can't sleep now, then I'll sleep later, or I'll be able to catch up at some further point down the line. And it's been a little bit uncertain because, when you need sleep and you need rest, that's vital to our well-being. But there's something bigger working with us at this time that we probably don't quite understand fully or have answers to. And all I can say about that is that it is the energetic coming through. The new energies from the sun, from the solar system, from the galaxy. Everything is always in motion and it's always changing. And we feel that. And as we expand our consciousness and we become more energetically aware and energetically open, we feel it too. So it's all part of this awakening process. It's all part of this ride that we signed up for. And it's why we can simply just go with it and trust it without needing to understand it. And remember that you do have tools for working with the energy. We've talked before about the Jin Shin Jitsu finger holds, where you can hold a finger on your hand that corresponds to a certain emotion, and simply holding that finger releases and moves the energy through you. You can practice Ho'oponopono, which is the prayer of forgiveness and release. And this is designed to help you emotionally let go of some deeper wounds or lessons, healings, either with yourself or with another. That is a powerful tool. You can always practice EFT tapping, which is where you work with the energy meridians of your body. There are great videos on YouTube that support you with EFT and the power of speaking your fear as well as speaking the affirmation as you tap into these energy meridians. Listening to high frequency music can also help you move the energies and feel good about this time, whether that's music that you enjoy listening to when you're working out or going for a walk, or anything that is a high frequency that's also perhaps a guided meditation. The high frequency helps the brain calm down and works with the deeper waves in the brain. Our brains have 5 different brain waves that operate at different frequencies, and the right music or guided meditations can help you tap into the more soothing, calming states of the brain. Any type of body work, stretching, yoga, movement is also really powerful right now, as it will move the energy through you. Of course, massage, acupuncture, Reiki, numerous other healing modalities are also very important right now when we go through these big energy phases. Just trust what works for you and know that even 10 minutes a day can make a difference, and that it can help settle you in your mind, in your energy field, in your aura, in your trust in the process as well. So as we move ahead, the sun is going to enter Aquarius on January 20th at 9:54 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. And when the sun goes into Aquarius, it enters a place of the mind. Aquarius is an air sign. It's a fixed sign. It's a masculine sign. It's the energy of being able to see the bigger picture. And we're going to have both Mercury and the sun now in Aquarius, opening us up to what is a new potential, the way ahead, what we can see and understand, and how we're meant to be supported in ourselves in a whole new way. Aquarius is both the energy of groups, networks, connections, the tribe, but it's also a connection to your individual energy. It's a connection to how you are unique and different amongst the group, and that when you feel confident in this sense of self, when you are aware of who you are, you can feel strong in yourself within the collective. So it's this very interesting dichotomy of the individual and the collective, and how those are both in connection at all times. That, of course, you're connected to something bigger than you, but you're also your own unique self. Aquarius season is quite active. We can be more social. We can be willing to go out and see friends. It's a sense of, who do I know? Who do I want to know? I'm ready to talk things through or hear more thoughts. It's very friendly. It's about how you relate to the world at large, social skills in the world at large, the people that you vibe with and that you want to hang out with. But it's also meant to help you differentiate yourself from others, where you can see, okay, I can relate to these people, we can be friends, we can see what we have in common, but I'm not giving up my sense of self. I know who I am, I know what matters to me, and I have an understanding of how I am different, and in fact, how everyone has differences. So the healthy expression of Aquarius is knowing that, we are composed of all these different energetics, and how do they all work together? Aquarius likes to put together a bigger picture, understand a fuller system. It's where things can be quite complex. It's the energy of genius, of being able to conceptualize a complex environment and have some out-of-the-box thinking that benefits the whole, that benefits humanity, that offers a new solution and a new way to see things. So we're going to be entering an opening phase. And in fact, that's what I've been feeling simply with Venus in Pisces and Mars in Sagittarius. Just to go back to those two really quick, they're a loosening energy. because they're mutable signs. And so they release what's been tight and they open it up. Okay, so they help kind of like dance it off, shake it off, throw your hair around, release what has been too tight. And then when we move into Aquarius season, along with Mercury in Aquarius, there's the new ideas, the fresh way of viewing things that comes through. And I feel like this is also an opening to conversations, opening to possibilities, but having a sense of where you're going is strong too. And I feel how this Aquarian energy is actually really supporting your unique soul mission in the world. And that it's time for more people to move into this, to understand how they are here to do things their own way. And to not compromise, but to not think you have to follow others or follow the pack. It's the energy of trusting yourself enough, knowing your energy enough, and then that's how you proceed. And on that note, I do need to give you a heads up that I have this really awesome program coming out before the end of January that's all about understanding your ability to show up in the world and offer your professional skills based on who you are. And this is a very cool system that was a game changer for me. It gave me huge clarity about my work in the world, how to do this work in the world, how I'm energetically designed, the mechanics of my own energy. And I'm so excited to share this with you. We're putting on finishing touches. It's not quite done yet, but it's going to be done very soon. And it's designed for really anyone who works, who has to make a living, who's here to share their energy in the world. But we're really tailoring it to healers, intuitives, readers, spiritual guides, anyone who wants to know, how am I here to be successful and how am I here to make money? Because money is a very real thing in our business. So I just want you to know that is coming your way. I will be sharing more with you, obviously, when it's released, when it's available, but just know that this was a game changer for me, and I hope it's the same for you, because so many of you are ready. You're just like, I'm ready for what is going to work for me. So that's coming soon. Just wanted to give you a heads up, because when it's released, I feel like it's going to help bring a lot of focus and clarity into your path ahead. So just a few more final thoughts here before I end today's episode. And that is to please go easy on yourself and to give yourself validation for what you have learned, what you have accomplished. Recognize yourself for what has been understood about your journey. This is a very personal thing, that we don't share. We don't put it out there in the world. It's your internal world. It's your internal assessment of what you have been through. Be soft with yourself at this time. We're moving through a closing moon cycle. We're going to have the Aquarius new moon on January 24th. That will be at 4 degrees of Aquarius, and I'll be talking about that next week. But this is a closing time where you can give yourself that breathing room, that space, that time of, okay, let me just take some very deep breaths here. Let me take care of myself. Let me not put too much on myself right now. The energy could feel like there's things that are moving effortlessly, gracefully. There isn't a lot that you have to do to make it happen. And trust that, absolutely trust that. But I feel like when I look at the current energetics, there's a lot of feminine energies right now in the cosmos. At the time of this podcast, there are 8 planets in the feminine signs. And you can trust that. You can trust that it's time to nurture yourself, listen to yourself, receive, allow yourself downtime, and that the energy is going to pick up with the January 24th new moon in Aquarius, in a masculine sign, and with Aquarius energy being strong with both the Sun and Mercury in Aquarius, there's going to be a lot of buzzy, electrifying energy. But at this time, allow yourself those really deep breaths that go into your stomach, that go into your diaphragm. You know, the really deep breaths that allow you to exhale slowly, and it's going to help you connect you with your own internal wisdom. I'm also feeling like there is a need to rejuvenate your cells, that our bodies have been feeling this energy intensely, and at a cellular level, we need that fresh air and that sense of calming, and of course the water and the downtime and the rest. So just see what shows up for you over the next week and allow it to show up for you as it arrives. These are the cycles of life. These are the cycles we can trust. These are the cycles we are made for. We are made to move through cycles, even though we have a lot of programming and conditioning about the go, 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 hustle, bustle, make it happen. We're actually reprogramming ourselves at a very deep level to understand the cycles, the wisdom of the body, the energetics that are bigger than us, and how we are here to flow with them. So on that note, I hope this gives you a reassurance of what is unfolding, an understanding of the energy dynamics at this time, as well as those relationship energies that could feel a little bit off. Just know that that's part of our reprogramming. You know, that's part of the rewiring, reshuffling, and your responsibility is in how you're showing up with your own higher consciousness. So I'm going to leave you with that today. Thank you so much for joining me. You can find out more about my current astrology classes and training at mollymccord.online, which is also where I offer business development classes and videos. And then you can find out more about my books at consciouscoolchic.com. That website is being redesigned and revamped, and I'm so excited for that too. It's been there since 2011. It's so last decade. So we're going to have a refresh on that website shortly. I wish you the very best, knowing that we're all in this together and that we are equipped with more than we know. Thank you for traveling with me, friends, and I look forward to connecting with you again on Monday's podcast. Have a beautiful week ahead and take good care.